Welcome to Wild South's Wild Wednesday. Today we're out here on the Sipsey Fork of the Black Warrior River in the Sipsey Recreation Area in the Bankhead National Forest. And I'm Janice Barrett. I'm Outreach Coordinator for Wild South and have been leading these Wild Wednesday hikes for many years. And this year, obviously, we're doing it a little bit differently. So out here exploring with me today are friends Joseph Jenkins, who is a research scientist and a biologist, and Joseph has done a lot of research on this river. And Josh Levesque, who is outreach coordinator at Camp McDowell and also a photographer. And behind the camera is our videographer of the day, Maggie Johnston from Camp McDowell. So before we start the fun stuff, exploring here in the water, we're going to take a minute to talk about safety because it's always more fun if we're safe. We're going to watch out today for things like ticks, and we'll do a thorough tick check when we get home this evening. We're going to be watching out for snakes and hoping that we find some. We'll be watching out for poison ivy because we want to stay away from that. And also heat, because this is a hot July day. So we're going to be drinking plenty of water. And since this is the time of the coronavirus pandemic, we are practicing virus safety even when we're out in our wildest places. So today we each have our masks to wear if we have to get closer than 6 feet to each other. So even out here, we keep ourselves safe from contagion and also keep other people safe. A part of our safety starts before we even leave home by letting somebody know where we're going to be and when to expect us back. And in places like this where there is no cell phone service, it's a really good idea to leave a note in your car to say where you've gone and when you're expected back. So, are we ready to explore? Let's go. If I ever saw a green salamander, it was in a situation like this. It was on a fallen magnolia tree right about this height. So in the summertime, we can find them outside of the bluff walls. They get out on the trees.
Make some snakes happy.
Yeah.
You ready? So we have a leave no trace moment, and it looks like someone forgot to take out their trash. And also, another leave no trace moment, a campsite in an illegal place. Since this is a recreation area, no camping is allowed. And also, if we were following leave no trace principles, it would be way too close to the water and to the trail.
But that was before I moved down here.
still have very little idea what's going on. It's a fun spot to be in. I just get to act. Enough sediment.
Yeah, as Janice said earlier, I'm a biologist and I've been out here researching a few various imperiled species here on the Sipsey Fork. One of them being the flattened musk turtle, which is one of the most endangered species of turtles in the entire United States. And then also the black warrior waterdog. Now, Bankhead National Forest here is one of the most pristine places still left in both of their ranges. So it's pretty important for us to study them here and get an idea of what kind of habitats they use so that we can then use that to go restore habitat in other areas. So the water dog is actually pretty cool in that it spends its entire life underwater. Unlike a lot of other salamandra species that live up on land, the water dog lives underwater for its entire life, and it has these cool external gills that make it look like a dragon. So this is pretty typical habitat for the flattened musk turtle and black warrior water dog. You have these big boulders that provide this crevice space kind of in between rocks that allow them to be able to get up under there and hide from predators and floods. Now, the problem we're having in many parts of their range is that there's a lot of sand and gravel and mud that washes in and fills in these areas in between these rocks and makes it so that they can't get away from these threats like predators and floods, and they end up getting killed.
Black warrior water dog eat?
Black warrior water dogs eat soft-bodied insects, so like dragonfly larvae, mayfly larvae, maybe some various worms and whatnot that they'll find in the water.
Delicious.
Janice, tell us what we're about to do.
Well, here we have a seine net, and we're going to see what we can find in the water. Maybe catch some fish. And Josh is going to take over here.
What we're going to do is we're going to run as fast as we can downstream, keep this lead line on the bottom, and these fish tend to, when they're scared, they'll tend to run upstream into the net. So we have to move quick, and then once we get down over there to that rock, we'll scoop up real fast. All right.
We got a fish.
Can you just let that drain out?
So whenever we're out here on our public lands and in our wild places, we always want to remember to acknowledge the tribes. About 10,000 years ago, humans first came into this area. And for all those thousands of years before white settlers came here, tribes like the Creeks and the Choctaws, the Uchis, the Alabamas, and then later the Cherokees, all occupied this land. They fished in the river, they were housed in the rock shelters, and they were fed by the forest. So we acknowledge those who came before us, and our ancestors. And I want to thank you all for joining us on this Wild Wednesday hike, and I hope that you come back next week for another Wild Wednesday. And in the meantime, keep exploring and stay wild.